guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and today we are doing the end of the year book tag. So the end of the year book tag is one that catches me by surprise every year. Every year I see it going up in October and I'm like, why are people doing that already? And then I remember that it is a book tag for the end of the year and not a book tag that you do at the end of the year. So it is a tag essentially where we just talk through some goals that I have for this latest stage of the year, things like that. I just wanted a nice chill tag video today. I am a little bit burnt out, not entirely sure of just things right now, so I wanted to do the end of the year book tag, and so I'm doing it. If you guys like seeing book tags or regular bookish content, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. You guys can also check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Page and Chapter to see what I'm reading and how I'm reviewing it in real time. I won't waste any more of your time because it's valuable, and we'll just get on like straight into the book tag. So the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I say this every year and that is because it is true. I am very good at either finishing books or DNFing them, and for the most part I would rather finish a book than DNF it and trying to work on that just as a concept, but I'm quite good at finishing books. However, there is one book that I started and had the intention of reading alongside another book, and I'm not entirely sure it's going to happen, but I don't want to DNF the book. I want the option there. So in theory, this is a book that I have started this year that I would like to get finished by the end of the year. You'll understand in a minute why that probably won't happen. And this book is Ancestors by Professor Alice Roberts. I am 76 pages in and I am tabbing it up, annotating it. This is a funerary archaeology book looking at different burials across time and what they can say about human evolution, human condition, things like that. It's very, very interesting, but the problem is that I started reading this prior to starting my master's degree, and now that I've started it, I'm doing more than enough of this type of reading about this type of stuff, and I don't really want to spend my free time reading this too. Like, I go to classes, I do all my classes, I do all my labs. Outside of all of that work, I also still have readings for each week that I need to do, that I do in my own time, and just outside of that, I don't really want to do anymore. I do think that this could be useful for dissertation season, so maybe finishing it would be a good thing, and I do like that I'm tabbing it, and I do like to have a non-fiction on hand, so I'm not DNFing it because this is quite an easy one to just kind of pick up and go back to, since it's like very nicely divided up. But the reason that the progress on this has stalled and why it probably won't happen is because I'm really struggling with wanting to read anyway. Like, I am just so tired that I work until I sleep and then I get up and I start work all over again. Reading already is hard enough, let alone reading the same thing that I'm studying. And then the next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition to the end of the year? So I feel like this question could be interpreted in different ways. For me, it's like an end of November, start of December kind of book, like something very wintry and Christmassy, but not so wintry and Christmassy that you want to save it for just before Christmas or like run up to Christmas. So maybe like mid-November towards the end of November type of book. You want something still a little bit dark, but something moving from spooky into slightly cozier. That's kind of what for me a transition book would be anyway. And so the book that I have for that is The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. I think this might be a fantasy Les Mis retelling. So the French Revolution just gives me very wintry vibes. I'm really not entirely sure where I've got that from, but this cover as well is definitely giving that kind of wintry, Christmassy feel to it, but I don't really want to read this at Christmas. I feel no attachment to reading this close to Christmas, so I think this will just be a nice little in-between transition one to read. So this is set in Paris in 1828 and the French Revolution has failed, and it follows Eponine as she has to join this gang of thieves and become the best thief in like the entire world in order to have any chance of rescuing her sister, because her sister was sold into the Guild of Flesh. I'll be honest, this was a little bit of a cover buy, and I like Les Mis, so I've read other Les Mis retellings before. This is just beautiful. It's clearly a fantasy style retelling, and I just think that I'll enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. I don't feel any particular way about it, but I do think that this will be just a nice one to have on like the November TBR. I can't believe how close it is till the end of the year. Like, it's nearly the end of October now, and after my October TBR books are done, it's literally just November and December. I'm not quite prepared for it to be the end of the year. Is there an anticipated release slash like new release that I'm still waiting for? I think in terms of actual release dates, I'm not waiting for anything else to come out this year. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure pre-orders wise and excitement wise I'm done for the year, but I am still waiting for Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong to arrive, because Waterstones is a pile of crap right now. Don't take my money if you're not going to deliver my book, or at least email me to let me know that there are issues. Like, I can't believe the lack of customer service. Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong is the spin-off series to Chloe Gong's debut duology These Violent Delight, which is a Romeo and Juliet retelling about gangs in Shanghai, and that book is enemies to lovers fantasy, and then this spin-off series is a fake dating fantasy about spies set in 1930. So I'm very excited about this book. I really wish that I hadn't pre-ordered it, because I've gone into multiple Waterstones since, and the exact edition that I have pre-ordered is there in like stacks and stacks and stacks, so I should have just gone and bought it. But alas, I now haven't done that. Like, I'm just stuck waiting for this pre-order to get to my door. I've made my bed, now I have to lie in it. But yeah, this book came out in September. There's still no sign of it. There's still like absolutely no communication from Waterstones, so it's just going to be a waiting game. If it actually arrives by the end of the year, I'll consider that a success. 3 books you want to read before the end of the year. Gideon the Ninth. This is on my October TBR. I'll be honest, my October TBR, it's just not happening right now. There's too many big books on it and I don't have the energy. But I do really want to read this, so this is going to be like the November priority. If I don't at least start it in October, like it's going to get read by the end of the year. I'm seeing so many people be excited about Nona the Ninth right now. I just want to get in on the hype. I'm just really scared that I'm not gonna like it because I've spent so long waiting to read it, or I'm like worried that I won't get into it and then I might get a bit slumpy. Like, I'm sure it does pick up because so many people love this series, but I'm feeling a little bit worried about it, I can't lie to you. But I want to get this book read by the end of the year and then continue with the series into 2023. That is probably the biggest goal reading wise that I will set myself for the end of the year, is just to read Gideon the Ninth. And then I have The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. This is volume 3 in the His Dark Materials series, which I have been reading since December of last year. Northern Lights was on my December TBR last year, and it's just time to, like, I can get another series finished by the end of the year if I pick this up. I did want this to be a later in the year read anyway, just to really like round things off, and I do feel like these books have quite wintry vibes, so I just wanted this to be a late year read. And I remember really enjoying the second one. I remember enjoying the second one more than the first one. And I'm just interested to see how this series wraps up and where it goes. It's just going to be a nice one to get off of the TBR, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one. So I know it says 3, but these two are just pretty much the only ones left that I desperately want to read in the rest of the year. I don't want to like overburden myself. I have already done an end of the year TBR. I did that a little while ago. I will link that for you, but I'm doing really well at that. Like, a lot of them are done, so I'm feeling pretty good, and if I don't have to overburden myself, then I'm not going to. It is a very intense end of the year for me, and I'm just about coping. Is there a book that could become my favourite book of the year, like left to read? So far, the book that is in my head as my favourite book of the year is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. It was beautiful. It was an absolutely stunningly beautiful book, and I'm obsessed with it. I do think that there's potential in 2 books though. So I do feel like Gideon could be a favourite book of the year. It might not be. I don't know. I really feel like I'm either going to become obsessed with this book and make it my whole personality, or I'm gonna hate it and cry for like 2 weeks because I've waited so long because I've wanted to like it. So it could be this one. Or I'm currently reading Babel by Art of Crying. It's not going very well right now, I'll be honest with you. I haven't picked it up in like about a week, but I am on page 285, which is about halfway through. When I first picked up this book, I was so obsessed with it. It sucked me in so quickly that I really was like, okay, I think this could be the new favourite of the year. But now I'm feeling a bit slumpy. I don't really want to pick it up as much, and I'm wondering if maybe it's just too long. This book covers the span of so many years, so I'm a bit worried that potentially this book could be in the process of losing me. We'll have to see how it wraps up. Maybe it will all be worth it. Art of Crying is very, very good at writing the ends of books. I still feel like this has the potential to be like a favourite book of the year, and I think some of my slumpiness, most of my slumpiness is not this book's fault. I'm just tired. I have a lot going on right now, and finding time to read. Even if I have the time to read, I'm tired, and reading is a bit mentally taxing sometimes. So it's not, I don't think it's the book's fault basically. And yeah, I do think that Babel could potentially be a favourite. Like, this is dark academia, it's fantasy, it's teaching me a hell of a lot about the British Empire, which I am horrified that I didn't know a single thing about prior to going into this book. I did a history A-level and an archaeology degree, so how could I not know a single thing about the British Empire? That's a bit dodgy if you ask me. Like, the English education system should maybe reflect on itself. And then the final question is, have you started making any reading plans for 2023? And I'm very happy that I got that right. No, is the short answer. No, I have no idea what. I think the plan for 2023 is just going to be make it out alive. Make it out with a solid master's degree, make it out with this channel still alive, make it out with having read like 2 books in the entire like year would be fine by me. It's going to be a year of just zero pressures. I am going to start reading audiobooks though, because I do think that that's going to help me a lot with reading, even though I don't feel like I have the time to just go and sit down with a book open and focus on reading. I'm hoping to listen to audiobooks whilst walking, driving, potentially working if I'm doing something that doesn't require that much concentration. That's gonna be, I'm hoping, how I can keep up some of my reading without falling behind on any other areas of my life. I literally cancelled my gym membership so that the money for my gym membership could go towards an audiobook subscription service, because priorities. So yeah, that reading audiobooks and listening to audiobooks, I'm gonna start now, like from right now. Literally as soon as I finish this video I'm gonna go subscribe because it's reminded me. But I do feel like the only sort of general plan I have for 2023 is that it's probably going to be more audiobooks than physical books. But as long as I'm reading, I don't really care how I do it. And so that is my end of the year book tag. I do hope that you have enjoyed watching. It's just a fun little quick video, and it's a nice check-in with myself to see what I want to do, what books I want to read, what books were on my end of the year TBR that I still have to get to. It's just really nice to have these sorts of videos to like look back on and go back to sometimes, see if you're succeeding with these totally arbitrary goals that you're setting yourself. It's good fun. So if you guys liked this video and you would like to see more, then do let me know by hitting that thumbs up button or by hitting that big red subscribe button down below to stay tuned for future content. If you've read any of these books or have any particular thoughts on any of them, then do leave those down in the comment section so I can know what I'm going to get myself into before I pick them up. And also feel free to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at PaigeInChapter. So I do hope that you guys have enjoyed and that you stick around. And without further ado, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you are enjoying everything you are reading, and there are no reading slumps in your future. And I will see you for my next video. Bye guys.